Where various political parties have kicked off this weekend's voter registration drive. Now, of course, SABC News reporter Ndwedwe and video journalist Dembe join us for a live update from Ndwedwe. Thank you so much for your time, Londi. Take us through what's happening where you are, and have people turned up in their numbers to register to vote this morning?
Thank you very much. We are in Sotobe High School here in Ozwatini, just outside Ndwedwe. The residents in this area, they've come to vote, but when we spoke to the presiding officer in this voting station, she told us that even though it's a rural area, but the people are coming now and again, but not as much as they are expected, because so far they've managed to see just over 50 people that have been coming to the voting station today. But I will just wrap up for yesterday. Yesterday, the KwaZulu-Natal IEC told us that they managed, people who visited the voting stations in the province are 170,000. In that 170,000, 37,000 were new people who were basically registering for the first time in the voters' roll. And then about 9,000 registered online. So the province is saying that today they managed to open their doors at 8 o'clock. There were no glitches around the province. You'd remember that yesterday there was also some voting stations, about 10 voting stations in the province of KwaZulu-Natal that did not open at 8. They opened later for different reasons. They found that the padlocks at the schools that they were supposed to be using, they were changed, and they had to liaise with the school principals, and all those basically problems were sorted by 9 o'clock. And then in the other voting station in Howick, Malala Hall, at around 4 o'clock yesterday, they had to close the voting station after a person that was suspected to be not mentally ill, who entered at the station with an axe and threatened the staff of the IEC, the police officers, and the members of the public. They were forced to close that station after that man was taken by the police. Back to you in studio.
And Mlondi, as you're telling us also about some of those safety concerns that were raised yesterday, have they been ironed out ahead of today, and everything should be smooth sailing as we're having this conversation and as voter registration for day 2 resumes?
The IEC in the province is saying that everything is running smoothly today in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. There are no challenges for today, but we're still trying to find other voting stations, because when you speak to the communities, that's when you find out that there was a problem, and then the IEC will have to confirm or deny that allegation that is raised by the members of the community. Because even today, when we were driving to this part of the province, voting stations, we could see that the voting stations were open. You could see that the parties were camping outside the voting station to show that they are making sure that the voters come to the station.
Listen, Mlondi, this is also at a time where this time of, an electioneering year brings so many questions to the fore. Paramount would be issues of service delivery as well that people usually highlight. Talk to us about the community that you're at right now and some of the challenges that they face on the day-to-day.
In this part of KwaZulu-Natal, this is one of the deepest rural areas in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The major challenges that they faced, it's water, it's road. They don't have roads because they are not tarred roads. When you're coming here, you have to use at least a 4x4 or a bakkie. But when you are using a small car, then you have so many problems, because sometimes you'll have to stop, and maybe your passengers must come out of the car so that you can move to the destination. And also the biggest challenge is that the unemployment rate in this area, when we spoke to the residents, they are telling us that young people are not employed. The other problem is that the TVET colleges, universities, and other higher education institutions are far away from them. So they feel that if you want to go to the university, you must go at least to be in Durban, or you must go to the cities so that you will be able to attend those universities, because here in Ndwedwe or here in this area, they don't have those luxuries. And also the electricity issue is also another problem in this area, because it's deep rural, and then some residents, they still complain that they are not basically connected to the electricity in their areas. Also, the schools in this area, they're saying that schools are far apart. That makes the learners to walk longer distances to school. So those are the challenges that are facing the people of this area.
And of course, you just touched on the young people there. I know that the ISC also spoke about roping in the youth electorate to go and register to vote. What sense are you getting there on the ground from some of the young people that you might have engaged with throughout the course of this weekend?
Today, we just managed to find someone who was telling us that he is voting for the first time. Basically, is coming to register for the first time because previously he did not have any interest when it comes to voting. Now he sees that as the young person, he needs to be part of the voters' roll so that he can exercise his right. Yesterday, we also met some young people from Kwanyuswa who also told us that previously, because her home was gutted by fire some years ago, so he missed the opportunity of registering to vote. So now that he's got his ID, he can now participate in the voting system.
Okay, Ndwedwe, thank you very much for that update. Let's touch base a bit later on in the program. That's, of course, our reporter Ndwedwe watching that story for us as we continue to crisscross the country, touching base with our reporters who are watching our voter registration weekend. You're watching The Agenda. We're back with you straight after this.